he has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
You just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw,
me like sparring.
Yeah.
When I watched it, which, you know, look, I paid for it. They got me. I thought it was going to be a real fight.
You know, but me, I'm going to speak my mind. I'm just going to keep it 100, man. Jake Paul is fugazi. He's fake.
That's how you feel?
Truly feel. I'll bust him up and his trainer in the same night. 2 for 1.
Joe Rogan responds with disbelief as Anthony. Joshua discloses Jake Paul pressed for a prearranged contest. Joshua states he accepted. Solely a genuine bout carrying true danger. Rogan observes how Paul's earlier victories draw claims of scripting and cooperative rivals. Those results, skeptics contend, inflated records and ratings, elevating championship chatter absent. Top competition, leaving audiences doubting. Credibility and purpose behind the show and sparking discussion throughout sporting circles globally.
Yeah.
You know, like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't, yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just
Yeah.
the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stay, and he's a one-punch killer.
Joe Rogan states the contest appeared more like a regulated practice drill rather than a violent battle. He explains that although the match carried flashes of stress, it never climbed to a point where severe harm felt probable. Rogan adds that boxing can become brutal extremely quickly, so watching both competitors leave unharmed without serious injuries is a favorable result. He emphasizes that protection counts above spectacle and feels relieved nobody absorbed crushing blows that might cause long-term consequences. Otherwise, and he was likely to be injured.
Fight, and he was going to get
You've
hurt.
known him for a long time. I've known him for a long time.
I love that dude.
Me too.
Chael Sonnen states the scenario clearly. Does not align when viewed. Rationally, he explains that a boxer, with just 11 professional contests, should not be positioned across the ring from an established Olympic medal winner. In Sonnen's opinion, the divide in ability, experience, and ring intelligence is far too large to dismiss. He also notes that the size disparity makes the pairing even more questionable, since the veteran fighter was not only beyond Jake Paul's typical opposition level, but also naturally bigger. Sonnen argues that in true competitive boxing, regulators and coaches would never permit such a matchup under standard conditions. To him, the contest raises serious doubts about legitimacy and purpose. He suggests that when bouts ignore fundamental sporting logic, fans are justified to question whether everything happening in the ring is truly competitive or mainly constructed for exposure and promotion, rather than authentic sport.
If I'm cheering for Jake, or if I think that Joshua is more experienced or better, I believe in I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion. Of course. This is before you get size in there, before you get professional world titles in there. A guy that's done this 11 times cannot go into the Olympic Games and medal. If boxing, in fact, should be believed. I was with Portnoy. I liked it. I liked how he said that. So, you know, that's how I feel too. Because I'm also cheering for Jake Paul. But I get it. I know we're not going to win tonight. But that's a compliment to boxing. And it is very hard for people to digest that Anthony Joshua can't cut him off. He can't find him. He can't do anything with that reach. He can't go out there and rush him. He can't throw this kid in a corner and beat him up. That is disappointing to me. That is baffling to me. As an MMA guy, I will just share with you, that would not be a problem at all. At all. If a guy's running away from me, it would be absolutely no problem. And you could put the boundaries at the city line. You could put it at the state line. I will track him down. I will put him somewhere and I will beat the dog out of him. So in a ring, I get where that is really disappointing. I get it, but it doesn't change the fact that that's what happened. And then Joshua, by the way, has the right to turn to some other thing. Where I'm saying he ought to cut him off, grab him, throw him in the corner, go beat him up. Well, I'm saying that Joshua has the right to go, nah, I could feel some stuff. I knew it was going to come my way, right? For Joshua to say, well, I had the experience, and yeah, he was moving, and yeah, I could have cut him off a little different. But I didn't mind the way this was going. I didn't mind that he was running. I knew he would slow down. I knew he would come to me eventually. Like, for that to be Joshua's mindset is fair play.
Joe Rogan highlights that Jake Paul has consistently aimed to establish himself as a legitimate fighter, stepping into the ring and demonstrating he can manage authentic competition. He emphasizes that Jake performs best when facing opponents and situations that are genuine, not staged or predetermined. However, this time, moving up to face Anthony Joshua, the magnitude of the challenge rises to an entirely different tier. Rogan points out that since Jake has never confronted someone with Joshua's size and strength before, it is difficult to judge his true conditioning or how he would endure a fully intense contest against an equally large and seasoned rival. He stresses that although Jake has shown ability and quickness, the unanswered question of stamina and toughness against elite heavyweights still lingers, leaving fans intrigued but unsure.
When we expect Jake Paul to be fighting like higher level competition, it's not because he has under 10 fights. It's because he talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, but that's also why we're talking about him.
And that's exactly true. But I think on both sides of the equation, we've got to like admit that a young fighter under 5 fights isn't fighting great competition. So
True.
if you're calling Jake Paul a legitimate boxer and then you're expecting him to do what legitimate boxers do, I'm not sure he's not doing that, and probably more.
That's what I'm saying about the knockout of Tyron Woodley, because it was just a regular boxer who's just coming up. And what does he have, 6 fights?
Yes.
Tim Bradley directly challenges Jake Paul, saying he is artificial and that his bouts lack authentic competition. He stresses that Paul's contests frequently seem arranged with rivals appearing to follow a plan rather than engaging in real competitive boxing. Bradley condemns how these manufactured results have allowed Jake to construct a record that overstates his capabilities. He cautions fans not to be deceived by the spectacle, noting that while the events are entertaining, they do not represent true boxing skill or danger. According to Bradley, Paul's method damages the integrity of the sport and creates a misleading example for developing fighters.
Paper. But I can't knock you for I can't knock your hustle. When you've built something outside of boxing and you say, hey, yo, I'm coming over here to the sport now and I'm going to pick and choose who I fight. Y'all come follow me. If they follow him, man, I just understand what it is. I know what I'm looking at. You're not going to fool me over here. Save that stuff for them other people because I'm not going to believe that I'm the face of... No, you're not the face of boxing. I'm not giving you that because that's for a lifer.
But that's what he believes.
That's cool. I can't knock him for that. People believe a lot of things for a lot of different reasons. I'm just saying... You can do all the rah-rah stuff. That's your business. But I just know what I'm looking at, right? But on the monetary side and it being an event, the truth is that when he does fight, it does bring attention around the sport. People debate, they argue, people want to see the fight. Is it legit? Is it him and Mike Tyson? No, it's an event.
That's what it is.
Daniel Cormier commended Jake Paul for his courage stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua, recognizing the immense risk involved. While initially joking that anyone would fight for $100 million, he acknowledged the bravery needed to face a veteran heavyweight after previously fighting much lighter opponents. Cormier highlighted Paul's athleticism and skill, noting how his movement and tactical awareness helped him avoid the full force of Joshua's powerful punches. He explained that constant motion and dodging drains energy, yet Paul managed to endure against an elite fighter. Cormier likened the challenge to wrestling dynamics, stressing the repeated resilience required each time a fighter is pressured or knocked down. He concluded that Paul's performance displayed boldness, adaptability, and dedication, proving that despite controversy over his career and past opponents, he approached this fight with respect and genuine courage for both the sport and his opponent.
Your take on that fight? What were your thoughts on that? I thought Jake Paul was a brave guy. Then I found out he made $100 million. I was thinking, well, anybody would fight for $100 million. But, bro, he fought. I literally ran into Logan Paul in New York City, and I said to him, it was weird, too, because I was going into a studio to interview Kamaru Usman for one of my shows. And Logan Paul was at the coffee shop. like, DC. I was like, what's up, Logan? Because he does a tremendous job in WWE. Yeah, Logan Paul does.
I don't watch WWE, but I know that.
Dude, you're huge. He might literally be the best professional wrestler in the world.
Really?
He's such an athlete, bro.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. But
I'm just stroking him right now.
I swear to God, bro, it's unbelievable how good the kid is.
Okay.
From the moment he started doing it, he was really good.
He can cut a promo, huh? Like,
He got what kids say. Promo. He's got a promo, but he's also good in the ring.
Okay.
He's really athletic. I said to him, I go, what type of safeguards do you have in place to make sure he doesn't get his head knocked off against Anthony Joshua? He's gonna fight Gervonta Davis, who weighed in at 137 2 fights ago. So now you're gonna go fight Anthony Joshua, who weighs all of 250? He said, all right. He said he's gonna just fight him. I go, man, he's very bold. And then what happened was he ran a lot.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Everybody goes, even Eddie Hearn goes, he did better than Francis. And I'm like, well, Francis didn't move around much. Francis thought he could actually fight him because of what he did to Tyson Fury, right? Couldn't. Tyson Fury might have overlooked him a little bit, and I think that's what happened. Like, he got caught with the right hand dropped. Anthony Joshua was like, I'm not taking any chances with this guy. So he fought him, and he took him serious. But Francis didn't move. Jake did a good job of moving around for a long time, but all that moving costs energy. Right?
I mean, I used to spar with the Robert Guerrero here in Gilwood.
Yep.
And I would go in and spar with him. I'd tell people that I would spar with him for his first 4 rounds. He would do 12 rounds.
Yep.
He would use me as his warm-up rounds.
Yep.
And I was in fight shape. I wouldn't go and spar unless I was ready to fight. Like, I was 2 or 3 weeks out from my... I was ready to fight. And by the 4th round, I was fucking exhausted. And he would just make me miss. You know, if you miss more, it's the right work. It makes you more tired.
Especially when you're throwing big punches like Jake was throwing.
Yeah.
And then wrestling. He's like shooting double legs and shit.
Like, all you look like Dylan Davis.
Oh, or seconds, bro. All that wrestling was crazy, dog. I was like, bro, have you ever in my life seen that much wrestling in a boxing match?
It was Dylan Davis, Logan Paul all over again.
Every time he would fall, you got to get up.
Yeah.
Every time you shoot, you got to get up.
It makes you more
It should be more up you. It's a worse shot. I mean, and Anthony Joshua was 250 bubbles.
Eddie Hearn offered a measured analysis of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, breaking down how the bout unfolded. He explained that the game plan was always straightforward. Stay patient, control the tempo, and systematically break Paul down before delivering a decisive finish. Hearn noted that this strategy was crafted to reduce unnecessary risk while maintaining ring dominance. According to him, the fight played out exactly as intended, highlighting Joshua's discipline and the power of a calculated approach over reckless aggression. This precise execution, Hearn suggested, allowed the match to remain safe while still providing the suspense and intensity fans anticipated.
Break him down. He said before the fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arms. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing. And actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mom said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round.
Yeah.
So, no, I give Jake respect. And, sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me a free book, that'd be fantastic.
Duke McKenzie offered a detailed, experience-driven analysis of the Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. He emphasized that his observations were rooted in technical expertise rather than personal opinion, lending credibility to his critique. McKenzie noted that the results spoke for itself, requiring little additional commentary. He highlighted Joshua's calm composure and tactical mastery throughout the bout, showing that the outcome mirrored the clear gap in skill and experience. For Mackenzie, the fight was a classic demonstration of a veteran boxer executing strategy and discipline to dominate a less seasoned challenger.
Reminded me of like when you got a fly on the windscreen and you're trying to swat it, and you're trying to swat it and you miss and you keep tapping, and then eventually, bang, you get it. That's exactly what that fight was. Jake Paul didn't get in there to win last night. He got in there to survive. And he didn't do a better job of surviving. He sold the fight brilliantly. That's what he is. He's a salesman. And he's a YouTuber, influencer, call him whatever you want. So from that perspective, he did his job, but he never got in there to win. He just got in there to got beat up. I'm glad Anthony Joshua done a number on him. This is why boxers are boxers, YouTubers, whatever they want to call themselves, influencers, they should stay in their lane and fight people that they're supposed to fight on their level. This guy was never on Anthony Joshua's level, and Joshua did what he needed to do, did what he had to do for the sake of boxing, and blow this guy up and just knock him out.
What about the fact that Jake was able to land on him clean a couple of times? What did you make of that?
Oh, listen, you can't get into the water without getting hit. Fortunately for Joshua, that guy can't break an egg. So he was never in any danger. He's always going to get hit back. I mean, it was 6 rounds. Anthony Joshua was always going to take at least 1 or 2 shots over that 6-round period, but it was nothing to hurt him. It was nothing to bother him. And like I say, this is all about getting AJ's confidence back. If Jake Paul fights, if he fights KSI or KFC or whatever his name is, then those two are evenly matched, aren't they? They're evenly matched, and then they could fight, and then because they're evenly matched, they're both YouTubers, aren't they? They should get that on.
Lawrence Oswe examined the fight through the lens of boxing's inherent risks. He stressed that in the ring, a single misstep can instantly change the outcome, no matter a fighter's fame, preparation, or promotional hype. Oswe's analysis highlighted the unpredictability and danger of the sport, showing that even brief lapses in focus can have serious consequences. He reminded viewers that boxing is far more than entertainment. It is a high-stakes contest demanding strategy, caution, and respect for its perils. The bout also ignited widespread discussion across media and fans alike.
Well done to Jake for surviving, but he wasn't trying to win. Every once in a while in between running, he would throw a wish, hope it would land, and do some damage. He was just hoping that Santa would come early and give him a present, a gift from the god. There's a reason in the jungle that a gazelle sometimes outruns a cheetah, the fastest animal, because fear makes you survive. But unfortunately, this baby gazelle ran out of steam. For AJ, it was like a light sparring session. You could see he didn't fear anything coming back. After the fight, he looked like he'd been for a light jog. AJ knew the constant pressure was breaking him down, because trust me, when you've got a guy who can punch stalking you, it's tiring, because you can't switch off. One mistake and you could end up asleep. AJ's a massive puncher. Even the punches that weren't landing clean were doing damage. Any heavyweight landing in 10-ounce gloves isn't fun. Again, credit to Jake. He got dropped, but he kept getting back up. That big head is durable. Did Jake do what he said he was going to do? No. He's a businessman. He sells the dream. At no stage did he really try to win. It was a bank robbery in broad daylight. On paper, he shouldn't have been there. He got in and kind of gave it a go. He risked his life for the fans' entertainment. Was it brave or stupidity? Well, regardless, I still think he's been great for boxing, bringing new eyes to the sport. Just look what he's done for female boxing. The undercard was female heavy, giving them opportunity, giving them a platform. Personally, I think it's great. For Jake Paul, the fight was a win-win. Once he's healed up, he can come again. But next time, fight someone at your level, light heavyweight or cruiserweight. And he did show heart, and I did see some improvement, despite the fact he was mainly running. He did show good movement and decent defence. People saying it's embarrassing for AJ. No, it's not. He just got his best and easiest payday. He can laugh his way to the bank. Nobody can honestly say if they were AJ, given the opportunity, they wouldn't take it. Come on, AJ, I'm bigging you up. Lend me a bit.
Luke Thomas emerged as one of the sharpest critics of the hype surrounding Jake Paul after the fight. He argued that much of the excitement was exaggerated, highlighting how narratives inflated Paul's performance while downplaying Joshua's tactical mastery. Thomas stressed the need to assess bouts based on skill, experience, and risk rather than hype or spectacle. Combined with Joshua's careful strategy, Duke McKenzie's technical insight, and Lawrence Oswey's warnings about the sport's dangers, this perspective provides a clear understanding of why the fight played out exactly as it did.
Him surviving kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. A little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Stay connected for more. See you in the next video.